In this video, we will learn about some of the benefits and the functionality of tables. Now our table is in this products table worksheet, and this is a table and we can change the design. So I'm going to choose something different here. So let me choose this, and you can see here that it didn't change any of the formatting, and this is because we had previously applied some specific formatting to these cells, and then Excel is now not overwriting with the table styles. So what we can do in such cases is select all of them and then go back to Home ribbon, clear formats, and now apply. Go back here and then apply a specific format that you want to apply to your table. And now we have to change these to prices. And so this one and the last one are actually rupees. So we can go here and then change it to currency Indian rupees. And then this one is actually a percentage. There we go. So now we have the table styles applied to this specific table. And now let's learn about some more of the functionality that we can get by converting a range into a table. So this arrow that you see at the top header row in each of the columns is our way of actually sorting the specific table by the specific field. So I can sort this table now by using sort largest to smallest. Now we'll have 15 to 1. And it's easy to now sort because now I'm sorting the entire table using the specific field. And I can also filter if I want to show only specific product IDs, and I can do the filter. Similarly, you can do the same in each of the columns. You can also do multiple selections. You can easily insert rows to a table by, for example, selecting any cell and then right click, insert table columns to the left or rows above. So you can insert columns, you can also insert rows very easily. You can delete the column, you can delete the rows very easily. And these are options that are available when you right click and then insert or delete. And one thing to note here is that you can also insert rows at the end of your table by just clicking on this cell here, for example, and then typing in 16, and I'm going to just do tab. And now what you notice is instantly this entire row is now included in this table. So now our table has actually expanded and now a new row has been added. So we didn't have to do anything. All you have to do is to type at the end here. And similarly, if I type in 17, and now Excel will actually include this row. And if we don't need this, we can just select and then right click, delete rows. So what you notice is that it's very, very easy to add rows to your table if we have this table set up. Similarly, if you can type in another field or another column name here, for example, profit, I'm just making it up just to illustrate the point. So immediately Excel will create a column under that, and then you can type in information. So adding columns or rows are more easy when you have this set up. So I can delete this column because I don't need this. Another thing you might have noticed is that when we actually added 16, immediately Excel was providing us with a value here, but it didn't do here because these are typed values. Whereas here we are using a formula. So when a column has a formula in it, Excel is automatically copying that formula to the newly created row. And you can type in here and you can see that the formula has been added for you based on what information or what formula the previous cells had. So it's very important that all the cells have the same basic formula. And here we were using, for example, the purchase price plus purchase price times margin, and this was copied into these other cells, and now Excel knows that this is the formula that it needs to apply. So the next row, it automatically added that formula. And now, for example, if I type in some 400 rupees, and you will notice that when I typed in 400, Excel automatically formatted in the Indian rupee currency. These are the benefits of using table and putting this in a Excel table, because the formatting is cascading the, not only the borders and everything, but also the number format also cascades to the newly created rows. And also here, let me type in 5. And now we have the formula is cascaded down to this new row, and now we have the calculated value. So we didn't even have to extend or copy the formula. Excel does it automatically. So all we had to do was type these information, and Excel will automatically create that. And now the table is expanded into this new row without us doing anything extra to make that happen. So these are some of the benefits of having Excel tables. We can also create charts based on this table data. For now, I'm just going to delete this row. I'm going to select the book name information and the purchase price. And I'm going to insert a bar chart here. And now you see the bar chart here. You see the book names, and Excel is automatically only giving us certain book names because it's applying some interval, so we can easily change that. I'm going to click here, format axis, and I want to see all the book names, so I'm going to say specify interval unit 1. So now we see all the book names here, and I'm going to just move the chart to the right. And now if I am adding a new book here, and now you can see that immediately it appears in the chart. And if I type in a specific amount, you see that Excel has now populated it. And so this is very, very convenient, because Excel's chart is actually updating automatically when the table is expanding. So this is one of the benefits of using an Excel table and then creating charts based on that. Similarly, you can use Excel's table as a source for pivot table. And when you do that, Excel will keep the table 1 here, which is our table name, as the source. And when we add more rows, Excel will automatically detect that, and you don't have to come here and change the source of the pivot table. That's another benefit of using table as a source for the pivot table. If you remember, when we created the pivot table first using this pivot table using the sales data, and when we went to options, change data source, you can see here that this is only using these rows, 569 rows as the source. If I add in a new row of data in row number 570, pivot table will not know that, will not include that as a source of data. But if I convert this sales sheet into a table, so if I select the whole thing and I convert this into a table, insert table, and then give a table name and use that as a source for our pivot table report, then even if I add more rows, Excel will automatically add them to the table, and it'll be fed to the pivot table. So it's much easier to have updated data in your pivot table as a source if you use tables instead of ranges. And now finally, if we have tables, and if you actually see that when I'm scrolling down, you see that the header row is now visible. We didn't even do any freeze panes. Excel is actually replacing the column labels with the heading or the header row information. For example, let me zoom in closely, and now I can see only so many rows of data. And let's say I want to see more. If I'm scrolling down, you can see here that the header row still is visible, so we know which columns mean what. And so this is convenient when you have a long table or a long set of rows as your source of data.